Righto, it's time for us now to apply some type to our poster. So let's lock the figure and the ground and make a new layer on top. And I've already created a Word document with all my information. So it includes the title, Greek Revival, and the word Melbourne. I'll just copy that, go into my new layer, just click on the document and Command V. Okay, so I have now my information. Now I've got to find the appropriate font. So I'm thinking that I'd like to have a contrast between these two, and that's what you should be doing as well. Create a contrast between the word Melbourne and the name of the design movement. And I'm sort of wanting to look at a font that kind of hints at being very old or ancient. And I know one called Trajan. So if I go to the type tool on the right hand side, if it's not already open, window, type, character, and I want to use a font called Trajan. And I might use it as, I'll start as just a regular. And I'll just zoom in to show you the style of that font. Remember, the space bar gives you a little hand that enables you to move around a document. And Trajan originates in about the 1980s, but it is based on a font on the Trajan's column in Rome from the 2nd century AD. So it has this very ancient look to it. Okay, so let me just go to the next one. So and we want a contrast, so I'm thinking something elegant, because something serious, something that speaks of the nature of the building and the formality of the building, that is the Parliament on Spring Street. So I think I'd like to use a formal script font, and I forget what it's called. Oh, here we go. I've got it right here. It's called Bigham Script Pro. I'd like to use, and let's have a look what that looks like in capitals. I might just change the case to uppercase. Ooh. Nah, it doesn't quite work in capitals. Command Z. Let's go back to that. Now that's all pretty obvious, yeah? That Melbourne looks fairly elegant, Greek Revival looks pretty ancient, but why not be a bit more playful and just reverse the fonts? So maybe make Greek Revival in the into that script type, Bigham, there you go, and let's turn Melbourne into the Trajan typeface. Type recent Trajan. Okay. Distinct difference in size, isn't there? Righto. I'd like to make Greek Revival bigger, so I can just simply go to the character window, just trying to make it equal or thereabouts. I think Greek Revival is still too small. I want to make that larger. Okay, and Melbourne, I wouldn't mind Melbourne just reaching to the end of the L. So I will now play with tracking. Remember, tracking deals with a whole word, kerning the space between two characters. So let's try. Okay, I think I needed more than that. I'm just stretching out the spaces between each letter. That's alright. That's pretty good. I like the way the G loops. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing that G looping over or behind the M. So what I want to do now is play with leading. Let's go into leading. And it's nice to see the words Greek revival just sit on top of Melbourne. With a little bit of space. I think I'm happy with that. Okay, now, so we've dealt with the problem of proximity. They're nice and close, they're related to each other, they belong together. But we also need to play with contrast, and contrast so far is between the two typefaces. I think I'd like to add an additional contrast and change the color. Now, you must remember, whenever using the type tool, you're only playing with the fill. You never ever ever do anything to the stroke. That just changes the quality of the thickness of the font. You do want to leave that alone. If you want to make it thicker, go to bold or extra bold or whatever it may be as an option. So Melbourne, I'd like to see something kind of that complementing the pink. So I could go. Let me go up here. See if it's how grey would work. Yeah. Let's try a blue. I like. Okay. Let's zoom out and see. Greek revival. Okay, is that all a bit big? I might just reduce that. So I'm going to go to the corner of the box, holding the shift key. Always hold the shift key, and just playing around with the scale of that. Okay, that's nice. I think these should be a little bit more distinct, so I will go to bold, regular, bold. I might do the same with the script if I have that option. Yep. Okay, as soon as I go bold, the lettering is a bit out, so it doesn't actually improve. I think I'll go back to the regular. Much better, a bit more, far more elegant. So I'm happy with that. Let's now put in some information about Greek revival style. So back to my Word document where I've compiled a bunch of words relating to Greek revival, and I'm just going to copy all those. I put them into a single column, and again type and just click. You don't need to drag a type box or a text box. All you need to do is just click and V, and of course you remember the last font that I used. So you've got this crazy font, which is the script. All I want is something subtle, something that reflects the historicity of the building. And Times New Roman, I think will do nicely. And of course, I'd like to do all these, change all that nutty stuff that I apply to the title, which is fine in the title, but definitely not fine when it comes to, and I might just go to 12. There we go. Okay. So I have now my key terms. It's a matter now of finding an appropriate location. I thought a column would be appropriate. I'm just thinking of all these columns that you have in the building, therefore I'm also making a column. And maybe I can align it with the edge of the building. Command R brings your ruler, then you can drag a guide all the way to pick a point in the building. Top corner will do me, and line that up and line that up. I will change the left line to a right line. So I need to go to the paragraph tool and click on align right, and then just move that into position. Let's have a look. Get rid of the guide, command colon. There you go. So we've got a lot of white space. We are cantering the weight, which is predominantly on the left side of the format, by putting the title towards the right and the body text towards the right. That works quite nicely on the pink. What would happen if we took these and explored possibilities on the gradient? Command C, Command 0, Command F. Okay, so the blue of the Melbourne actually is working quite nicely with what's happening in here. This is getting a little lost. It's a bit too bold maybe. I quite like to see that in white. Yeah, kind of works. What happens if it's up here somewhere? Yeah. What does white look against? Oh, I like that. In fact, I like that closer to the title, so I might drag this one up as well. There's two variations, and I think it does justice to the building. We're done.